guys? It's Jason Thomas, 3C's Mentoring Group, where we have conversations about life. We get information. We highlight people. We have a special guest here today. Who do we have?
Yo, we finally made it happen. Shari
Yes.
Nycole, and I would like to say I'm a media maven. I guess multimedia maven, we can say. And I guess we'll talk more specifics as the interview goes on. But glad to be here, Jason.
So this person here helped me when we first started doing podcasting. We have a picture of her. I might flash the picture so people can see. But she helped us out with setting it up, and our students was telling stories and things like that. So I finally get to interview her. It's been a long time. It's been years. Pre-COVID, I was supposed to do this. So I finally, because she has a lot to add to conversations, and I want to have 15 minutes because my son is tired.
He is ready to get out of here.
So we're going to go ahead. So tell us about, for people who don't know, tell us what you do.
Okay, so to keep it brief, I am a media personality, and that's in TV and digital media and radio. I've also been a producer on the TV and film side for a little over 13 years now, and worked for networks like TV One, Essence, what was it, Biography Channel, A&E. So it's been a great experience doing that. I've done live news, I've done talk shows, I've done documentary, I've done docu-reality, just across the gamut. And currently just really invested on the digital media space and the radio space, and then I also have a podcast, Just a Thought with Shari Nycole, which has been going strong since the pandemic. We are now on hiatus right now, but 4 years strong and probably about 110 episodes in so far.
So you make a living from a digital space.
Absolutely. I am an avid storyteller, and my whole goal is to tell truth beautifully in a way that is bold but not abrasive. That is my mission
That's
statement.
a nice tagline.
Yes.
So I went to the NABJ conference. That's my first time. And I posted about it because I felt like more people should see this.
Yeah.
Because when you hear of journalism, what was your major in college?
So when I was in undergrad, I majored in media studies. Excuse me, take that back. I did not. I majored in communications with a concentration in media studies.
Okay.
And that's how I got the broadcast experience. And then I minored in journalism. And then I went to Northwestern University and got my master's degree in broadcast journalism.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So before I went to NABJ, when I heard journalism, I thought about the guy with the little flip thing, the little reporter. I thought
They
about
still do that. Some people do. Some people
I
still
thought
old school.
about that, and I'd never put two and two together with social media and people making a living off of it.
Yeah.
Like in the different hats. So how did your school prepare you for where you are now? Was it stuff you picked up along the way?
It's funny you say that. I'm going to backtrack just a moment because a lot of what we're seeing isn't journalism. So I think the lines have been blurred so much where
Really?
like your opinion now and your personality matters more than the objectivity of it all. And so I come from a traditional journalistic background where, objectivity is important. Know your facts, state your facts, and your opinion isn't the most important thing, right? So we've flipped it because of social media in particular and influencer culture. No shade, but it's kind of flipped the script and blurred the lines a little bit.
So to the untrained person, we think it's journalism,
yes, and
but it's not.
Most of this is not. Even if you look at the news, a lot of and I'm not going to go into naming networks or whatever,
Yeah,
but
that ain't important.
You see them leaning in particular directions. It's very obvious that objectivity is not something that, they are moving in the spirit of. And that's just the world we live in now.
So if you're watching something, how do you know if it's journalism compared to opinion? What do you look for to know the difference?
I think a lot of what we see now is personality driven. So it's someone stating their opinion about something versus stating the facts of something, or someone that's leaning heavily in one direction. So for instance, if I'm a journalist, right, and I may be a Democrat, I should still consider and talk about what's happening on the Republican side of the aisle. If I do not, and I lean liberal or lean Democrat in my commentary, that's not journalism.
So journalism,
That's infotainment. Like we have a lot of people picking sides. And you really can't. You really have to say, this is what's going on. And actually what I feel about it doesn't even matter. As a journalist, my job isn't to give you my opinion or my feelings about what's going on. It's to tell you what's going on.
So is it possible to be an influencer and a journalist.
Absolutely. I would consider myself that in many respects.
So when the influencer part is people like what you put out, your personality.
Absolutely.
The journalism part is that you are fair when you report.
Absolutely. And I think that, like, for me, especially when I'm on radio, I have to make it very clear because I do news hits every day. So I even tell people there are some commentary that I give, but hey, I say, as a journalist, I am telling you this because of this, or this is the approach I have to take. But even as far as my education, I mean, it was very clear, you don't have room to make mistakes. So when I was in grad school, we had something called the Medill F. It probably still exists. So the Medill School of Journalism is at Northwestern University. It's one of the most prestigious journalism schools in the world. And our teacher would tell us like this random story, right? And we'd have to do a news article on it. We have to write a news article. We have to get every fact right. You miss one fact, it's an F. So I did this one. He told us about some car accident that happened. I did my report, got my paper back the next day, big fat F on it. First F I ever got in my life.
How'd that feel?
I was devastated. You talking to somebody that's like straight A's, couple B's sprinkled in their whole life. Now they got an F sitting on the paper. And, I'm already in a program where I don't see a lot of people that look like me, right? So there's insecurities about, like, do I even deserve to be here? And then you get that F. And so it just chips away at your confidence. And I got the F because I got the year of the car wrong by like a year. I think it said it was like a 1992, and I said it was a 93. I mean, to that end. And what I learned from that experience was, and even talking to my professor, who, shout out to Steve Garnett, like, he's incredible, and he really got me through that program and helped me to believe in myself. But he said, Shari, as journalists, we can't afford to be wrong when we're giving people information. When I'm disseminating information, I don't get the right to be wrong. He's like, so I need you guys to understand, it's just that critical. You can't make mistakes. And even though as human beings we will, but if you move in a mode where it's like, hey, this has to be perfect because I'm giving this to somebody to inform their lives, then that's the spirit that you move in for the rest of your career. That's the biggest thing that my program ever gave me. That and teaching me how to edit on Premiere. And
to your point, I had students here. Wow, you just gave me a lot to think about. They were talking about how they get information from TikTok.
Right.
And when I was at NABJ, they were talking about how people are not consuming news from traditional things. They're going to social media to get it.
Right.
So if TikTok is and the argument they were saying is like, it's not vetted news. You can just go on TikTok and spit something.
Right.
So how do you, what is your thoughts on how does the average consumer know what source to trust if we are now going on TikTok? And you just said it's not journalism no more.
Yeah.
So how do you know what source to trust if the big names aren't backing it anymore? It's just influencer culture.
People don't know.
Oh my
like,
God!
People
so we in
don't.
trouble.
I mean, and I'm not trying to sound doom and gloom, but if you think about it, most people don't double source anything. If I look at something on a video, I'm immediately
take it and run with it.
Okay, let me see. Now I don't. I said, let me see who else said this. This report says somebody did this. Okay, let me see where else I can find this to double and triple source this before I just say, oh my God, I saw on TikTok that such and such did that. Who else said it?
Like they be saying people be dead. They don't be dead.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's the biggest one.
So it just happened recently. Like, it took a while. It ended up happening, but Erica Ash, rest her soul, just an incredible actress. When the announcement first came, BET actually retracted it. And there were a couple outlets that had it up at first, retracted it as well. And none of the bigger outlets that we normally see those announcements on had it up at all. No TMZ, no CNN. All that came later. So for me, until I see it on the more reputable sites, like a TMZ in that instance, like a CNN, MSNBC, even a Fox News, like these are BBC, I'm not, where's the proof?
So I got two words for you. What's your thoughts on Shade Room? Before you answer, the reason I asked that, a lot of my students get their news from Shade Room. It's like, that is like the thing.
Absolutely.
And is that vetted?
Yes, I have to... It's interesting because there's a duality that exists on Shade Room, right? On one end, they do their due diligence. They have a news sector now for the Shade Room.
Really?
They have somebody that reports for the Shade Room, actual news stories, right?
Wow.
Which I can really appreciate. On the other side of it, there's some things that they share that I'm just like, this is so counter to what could help progress and inform our culture. And even entertain them to an extent, because I think that we entertain a lot of foolishness And there are posts up that do the same thing on the Shade Room, but I have to commend them for at least trying to give us some level of balance. So shout out to Shade Room for, having journalists actually come in and report the news. And it's nothing wrong. I mean, here's the deal. I think it's great that our young people can have a site where they can look at that and say, wow, okay, that really happened. Because that's the other thing. A lot of this is shared videos. This is your proof right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a car accident. Oh, there's the accident right there. You're seeing it right there, right? So there's some things that they post that are inappropriate, but also that sadly are in line with what's going on in the culture right now, with what's going to get clicks. And they want to make money too, so I understand why they do it. But money. The balance in having actual reporting, I have to commend them on, because that wasn't always the case.
How do you feel about AI and credible sources? Because those are actual videos.
Yeah.
And we can auto-generate scenes and stuff. How's that as a journalist? How does AI complicate fact-checking things?
I just think it makes, or it should make us all more skeptical. You can't believe everything you see. And, again, it just goes back to, we have to get in the practice of sourcing things. I'm talking from the smallest little thing. And I'm not trying to make people... Sourcing. Yes, I'm not trying to make people...
Are you talking Wikipedia?
No, I wouldn't.
Not Wikipedia?
I wouldn't source on Wikipedia, because anybody can go on Wikipedia and change that up. That's not what I would consider reputable. But I think it also starts in our homes. It starts in our schools at young ages, really teaching our young people, like, hey, you cannot believe everything you see at firsthand, because it could cost you something. There could be a consequence to you being misinformed. And I think that's the part of conversation we're not having right now with this generation. Everything is okay. Everybody's going to go, get, entitlement. I'm going to have, I want, oh my God, look at that. We're so desensitized because we can get access to any and everything at any point in time because of social media. Nobody's considering what's actually the truth anymore.
So if I was to do an assignment with my nonprofit, if I was to take kind of the thing you said at Northwestern y'all did.
Yeah.
If I gave them an article and I said, fact check, what would give me an assignment I can do? I'm going to do it. Give me a social media assignment about sourcing, just off the top of your head, that I could do. You think that would help them get it at a basic level? I
would tell a story about a student athlete who really successful, this kid averaged 25 points a game, All-American, NBA ready, is going to declare for the draft this year, racked in $3 million in NIL money. And I'm saying all this because these numbers you have to spit out. These facts you have to spit out exactly.
Oh.
And just last week, they got into a domestic dispute with their girlfriend. And as a result, they've been charged with battery. They got out on bail the day after their arrest. And they are set to be in court next week. Let's just say September the 10th. That's your report. You got to get
So you made that up?
I just made that up off the top of my head.
Okay.
You have to get all of that. You're reporting on this person. Everything I said, you have to get right. Anything you get wrong, you get an F. So you say it verbally? Yes.
Is it written somewhere?
No.
Oh, so how do they know if they got it right or wrong? How would they know?
So I'll write it. To your point, I will have it written down.
You would have it written down. You would just say it one time.
Just one time. And they have to jot this down. And that's what I had to do.
And you don't slow down. You don't repeat it.
There's no, can you repeat that? There's no questions. I can't remember if we got questions. I don't even remember if we got to ask questions or not. It was this is the story.
Okay.
Report on the story. Also, another exercise, I don't know if you guys do live shots a lot. Live shots are one of the most difficult things to do as a journalist.
Live shots meaning?
So say, for instance, there's a car accident outside. All right, Jason, I need you to report. We need you on the ground immediately to report on this car accident.
Is anything loving I can do? That's traumatic.
Chicago Marathon.
Okay.
Stand at the finish line. All right, the winner is probably about a mile out. It's neck and neck between these two particular people. We need you at the finish line, and we need you to call it as they're coming across and as they finish, right?
Okay.
So live shots, it's only one chance.
That's it.
It's live. You don't have any room to start that over. No. That was one of the hardest things for me to do in my training in college and in grad school was live shots. I hated doing live shots. And it's all about just speaking to what's around you, what's in front of you, and forgetting that camera's even there to an extent.